Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Saturday, February the 13th. Now, we do got a pretty short Saturday slate, only 4 games tonight, but we're going to break down these 4 games team by team, give you guys my early thoughts, what I'm liking on this slate as of Friday night when I record this video. Just give you guys my early thoughts, what stands out to me looking at each team on this short slate. But before we do get started with the breakdown, guys, as always, I'd appreciate it if you would hit the like button down below. If you are new to the channel here, be sure to click that subscribe button as well. Click the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload. You never miss out on any of my new videos. You will also get notified every time I do go live. I do plan on live streaming this afternoon, probably around 4:30 Eastern time for tonight's slate. So if you're able to tune into the stream, we'll chat for about an hour. I'll answer all your guys' questions. We can break down everything, talk through everything once again this afternoon in the live stream. So be sure to tune into that around 4:30 Eastern. But yeah, hit the like button, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Also, check out my Patreon content, link down below in the description. If you really enjoy these YouTube videos, if they help you out a lot, you want to get more content from me, you want to see more that I have to offer, I do have a lot of additional stuff on Patreon, my core plays, my cash and GPP sheets, my player pool, my rankings, our Discord chat, all that's available for Patreon members. So check that out, link down below. But yeah, let's go ahead and start off with the Pacers and the Hawks game. We'll start off on the Pacers side. So the Pacers actually do look like a pretty appealing team on this slate, just given how good of a matchup it is against Atlanta. Obviously, it starts with Sabonis and Brogdon. I think those are definitely the 2 most appealing guys to target from the Pacers today. Sabonis at 9K, he still does feel a little bit too cheap. He was, that slate where he, like against Utah when he was 8,300, against Brooklyn when he was 8,600, like those price tags were just way too low for Sabonis. 9K is a lot more reasonable, but it's still honestly probably a bit too cheap for him given this good matchup. The Hawks haven't been as bad defensively this year, but this is still a pretty appealing spot. The Hawks are, still a decently paced team. They're still about middle of the pack in pace, so do like Sabonis a lot here at 9K. If I can pay up at the power forward position, obviously he looks like one of the top plays overall at power forward. Malcolm Brogdon I like quite a bit as well. Now, he's been pretty bad lately. We haven't really seen a good game from Brogdon in quite some time. The last time he put up over 40 DK points was it was like 6 or 7 games ago. He's been pretty bad lately, but definitely a good matchup here against Atlanta. Going to get probably, 36, 38 minutes from Brogdon, maybe even more. We've seen in competitive games this year, both Brogdon and Sabonis are playing close to 40 minutes. I do like him a lot at 7,500. He is still very affordable, so him, Sabonis, I think look like very solid options from the Pacers today. Miles Turner, I don't mind either, but, I don't think I'm going to have as much interest in him, as I do in Sabonis and Brogdon. In these secondary pieces from the Pacers, I'm not that interested in. Like Jeremy Lamb, he came off the bench last game. He's been coming off the bench recently, and he's been playing decently well, but he still has a pretty low floor. Like we've seen games where Jeremy Lamb just goes out there and doesn't do much. But the upside is there, especially in a matchup like this against Atlanta. I could see maybe playing him at 5,100, but really from the Pacers, it's just, it's Sabonis and Brogdon. Those are the 2 guys I want to get the most exposure to today. Now, moving on to the Hawks side, this is a back-to-back for the Hawks. I don't think that matters too much, but you got Trae Young at 9,800. Tough to consider Trae Young a core play, a top option on this slate. There's a lot of other studs I have interest in. I'd rather play Sabonis. I'd rather play Brogdon on the other side of this game. In the Houston-New York game, there's guys I like there. In Brooklyn and Golden State, that should be a very fast-paced game, should be high-scoring. I think the studs look appealing in that game as well. Tougher to get to Trae Young on this slate in a pretty bad matchup against the Pacers. The Pacers are a solid defensive team. They don't play that fast either. Don't really love Trae Young on this slate. Same with Clint Capella, same with John Collins. I think if I was going to go to any of these guys, it probably would be Trae Young, but really nobody from the Hawks stands out as a top play. Even though it is a short slate, I still don't have that much interest in really anyone on Atlanta. It's not the best spot. The price tags on all these guys, just none of them stand out as top options at their price points. Like Capella, he had that stretch where he was just dominating every night. He's definitely, been a lot worse lately. He's still shown some upside, but the floor on Capella's a lot lower. The minutes have been down as well, which we obviously don't want to see. So tough to trust Capella. John Collins, he's been so up and down this year. We know that the ceiling is still there. He could definitely put up 40 plus any night, but yeah, just don't think I'm really going to be going to anyone on the Hawks today. Just nobody stands out as a top play from Atlanta. So we can go ahead and move on to the next game, Houston and New York. So this is a very appealing one. We do have some pretty big injuries on the Houston side. We know that Christian Wood is going to remain out for this game, but we do also know that Victor Oladipo has been ruled out, so that does impact quite a bit. Obviously, with Victor Oladipo out, John Wall is one of the biggest beneficiaries, and I think John Wall just is too cheap once again on both sites. $7,200 on DK, I like him quite a bit. Over on Yahoo, he's $31. I still think he looks too cheap over there as well. The price tag, it wasn't adjusted for Oladipo being out. Wall right now, we have to watch his status, but he's probable. He's expected to play. I'm assuming he's going to be good to go. I think this might be a back-to-back for the Rockets. I'm not sure if they play tomorrow. I think that's why Oladipo's out. Or he had a foot injury, so it's not a back-to-back. I thought they were resting him, but he actually had a foot injury, so he's going to be out today. Wall, though, definitely going to benefit, gets more usage, going to have the ball in his hands a lot more with Oladipo off the floor. His minutes have also been they've been way up lately. He's back to playing normal minutes. We got 36 minutes from John Wall last game against Miami. I think if tonight's game against the Knicks is close, we're going to get 35, 36 minutes from John Wall, which, if we do at 7,200, if we're getting 36 minutes from John Wall with no Oladipo at 7,200, I mean, he can easily go for 40-plus DK points. I like him quite a bit on this slate. Definitely stands out as one of the better options at the point guard position. DeMarcus Cousins at 6,500, I do have some interest in as well. Cousins, he's been burning me lately. I didn't play him last slate, and he actually had a decent game against Miami. Only played 25 minutes, but did have 38 DK points. He did get into some foul trouble. I'm not sure if that's what kept him from playing bigger minutes, but we're obviously not going to see Cousins play massive minutes. At the most, he's probably playing like 29, 30. But he is still a really productive player on a point per minute basis. He hasn't been as productive lately, but the upside is still there for DeMarcus Cousins. The price tag has come down to $6,500. No Oladipo. I mean, that's just going to allow for Cousins to get even more usage. I expect the usage to be dominated by Wall and Cousins. So at $6,500, I do actually have some interest in Cousins on this slate. And I faded him last slate, and he didn't have a terrible game, but he also wasn't great for his price tag. I'm fine going back to him today at $6,500. So do like Cousins. Eric Gordon, he benefits as well without John Wall. I do like him a good amount at $5,800. But without Oladipo. So without Victor Oladipo, Eric Gordon does benefit as well. I would assume that you see Eric Gordon move into the starting lineup in place of Oladipo. Normally Gordon is not someone I play when both of those two guys are healthy. When both Wall and Oladipo are healthy, I just don't play Eric Gordon. But when one of the two are out, Eric Gordon is definitely viable, which is the case today. And the price tag came down a little bit at $5,800. He's obviously not, insanely cheap. I mean, $5,800 is still a pretty hefty price tag for Eric Gordon, but he has at least shown some upside. When you get one of those two guys off the floor, he'll be, the backup point guard. Whenever Wall's off the floor, you'll see Gordon out there. So I do like Eric Gordon at $5,800. I do have some interest in him with Oladipo out. And then Jae'Sean Tate for $4,700. I think might go a bit overlooked today, but he's been getting big minutes lately. He got 35 minutes last game, was pretty productive with 29 DK points. He hasn't been great on a point per minute basis this year. He's not he's not a high usage player at all. He's only going to average probably 0.7, 0.75 fantasy points per minute. But I think he's very likely to play 34, 35 minutes. We do need to watch the status of PJ Tucker. That is an impactful injury. Obviously, PJ Tucker being out, PJ Tucker's not going to, him being out doesn't affect anyone in terms of usage. Like, PJ Tucker's obviously an incredibly low usage player. It's just that PJ Tucker does play, pretty good minutes. So with him being out, those minutes are going to have to go somewhere. I would expect Jae'Sean Tate to get some of those minutes. You'll probably see maybe like Daniel House pick up a few more minutes. Maybe David Nwaba picks up a few more minutes. But I would like Tate quite a bit if Tucker's out. And I even have interest in him already just because I think with no Oladipo, that's going to allow for Tate to do a little bit more as well. He's still pretty cheap, $4,700 on DK. Cheap at the small forward position on Yahoo, only $13 over there. I do like Jae'Sean Tate quite a bit. Going to continue to start and probably play over 30 minutes. And if Tucker were to be out, that would make me like Tate even more. Daniel House, don't really think I want to go there. Sterling Brown, I think, is viable since Oladipo's out. His minutes have actually been pretty good lately. Some of that's been due to blowout, but without Oladipo, I think we probably get 24, 25 minutes from Sterling Brown off the bench. He's only $3,700. Definitely someone you could look to as a cheaper option. He is a pretty productive player when he does get minutes. I don't mind him as a lower owned, kind of punt play on this slate, but I think that does it for the Rockets today. I think we covered everything on Houston. So moving on to the Knicks side. So the Knicks are another team we have to watch in terms of injuries. So Mitchell Robinson, he got injured in Friday night's game against the Wizards. He was not able to return. It seems like he is going to be out for a good amount of time. I believe he fractured his hand, so I'm assuming that Robinson's going to be out today. We are going to talk about, Nerlens Noel, who's going to be a great value if Mitchell Robinson's out. But Julius Randle at $8,700, I do have some interest in. I think without Mitchell Robinson, we'll see Julius Randle get more time at center, which is going to benefit him. I liked Randle a lot on Friday night slate, and that worked out well. He only played 32 minutes because it was a blowout, but he still had 55 DK points, was insanely productive on a point-per-minute basis, and we know the kind of upside that Julius Randle has. He's a very productive player when he's on the floor. He can stuff the stat sheet. He had 24 and 18 with 4 assists and a steal in Friday night's game in a good matchup, against a pretty fast-paced Houston team. Obviously, Houston, they've been better defensively this year, but they still do play pretty fast. I like Julius Randle quite a bit, especially since his price tag came down to $8,700. I think choosing between Sabonis or Randle, it's close for me. I think I'd probably give the edge to Sabonis, but I do like both guys quite a bit. I think if you can pay up at power forward, obviously Sabonis and Randle look like two of the best options. RJ Barrett, tough to trust him even at 6K. He's just been so bad lately. I don't think I really want to go to Barrett on this slate. Alec Burks, Elfrid Payton, just not going to go there. But the other guy I do have interest in from the Knicks is Nerlens Noel. So with Mitchell Robinson fracturing his hand and most likely going to be out for this game, I am assuming that Nerlens Noel starts at center. We'll have to wait and see. They could maybe start Julius Randle at center and then move somebody else into the starting lineup. But assuming that Nerlens Noel starts at 3,900, I think he looks like one of the best value plays on the slate. He is definitely going to be someone that we want to get exposure to. He's minimum salary on Yahoo, so I like him a ton over there as well. Just too cheap if he's going to be starting and playing, around 22, 24 minutes. Obviously, Nerlens Noel is probably not going to play 35 minutes. He's just not, he's not that kind of player. But I think 28 to 30 is probably the higher end. I think 22 to 24 feels like a good floor for minutes. I think he plays at least low 20s. As long as he's not in foul trouble, he should be, out there producing because, he is a productive player when he does get minutes. He can score, he can rebound, he can block shots. We've seen Nerlens Noel put up some big games when he does get, 28 to 30 minutes. And now, with Mitchell Robinson unlikely to play, I think Noel probably gets around 22, 24 minutes today at the least. And for 3,900, that's just too cheap. So Nerlens Noel, one of the better value plays on the slate right now, in my opinion, with Mitchell Robinson expected to be out. I believe Noel did start the second half in place of Robinson for Friday's game. If I'm not mistaken, I think Noel started the second half, so I'm assuming that he does wind up starting for Friday night or for this game on Saturday. But we can go ahead and move on to the next game, Brooklyn and Golden State. So this one should be an awesome game. Should be very high scoring. Should be really fast paced. Both Brooklyn and Golden State this year, I believe, are top 5 in pace. We should see a ton of points scored here. Starting on the Brooklyn side, it's such a good matchup, and it's such a fast-paced game that I could obviously see one of Harden, KD, Irving going off. They're still priced to where none of them stand out as top options. I think if I had to choose one, I'd probably prefer Kevin Durant at 9,600. This is his first game back since the COVID protocol. He missed about a week of games. I don't think he's going to be limited or anything, so just keep an eye on that. KD's been out for about a week. I'd assume though he's still going to be good to go, full go for this game. Against his former team, if you want to factor in that narrative, Kevin Durant at 9,600 I think is the most underpriced out of the 3 Brooklyn guys. I don't think I want to pay 10-4 for Harden on this slate. I think Irving's fine at 9,200, but between the 3 Brooklyn guys, the big 3, I think KD's my favorite at 9,600, given his price came down a little bit. Plus, you factor in, the revenge narrative against his former team. I think he's the most appealing, but don't have too much interest in Jeff Green or Joe Harris. I think Jeff Green's viable because DeAndre Jordan has been ruled out already. With DeAndre Jordan out, I'm assuming that they start Jeff Green at center, especially because Draymond Green's going to be starting at center on the other side of this game. And with Draymond Green starting at center, obviously that's a matchup, Green versus Green, that's a pretty, sizable, pretty even matchup, I should say. It's not like they're going to need to run Norvell Pell out there or Noah Vonleh out there, so I'm assuming Jeff Green starts at center with DeAndre Jordan out. That should be a slight boost for his production. Obviously he's not going to be insanely productive playing alongside Kyrie, Harden, KD, but if he's going to start and play around 30, 32 minutes in a fast-paced, high-scoring game, Jeff Green has a path to upside. Still don't think he's a top play by any means, but at least viable. I don't really have any interest in anyone else, though, on Brooklyn. With DJ out, we might see Norvell Pell pick up a few more minutes, but this doesn't feel like a matchup where they're going to be running Norvell Pell out there for a ton of minutes just because Golden State is playing so small right now just because they don't have any bigs. So really, my favorite guy to target on Brooklyn, I think, is KD, and outside of KD, not much else in not much interest in anyone else. So moving on to the Golden State side, now I think Golden State is very appealing on this slate, just given how good of a matchup it is against Brooklyn, who's been playing really fast this year, been terrible defensively. Steph Curry right now looks like one of the best pay-up options on the slate, in my opinion. 10,100 on DK, like him quite a bit. On Yahoo, he's pretty affordable over there as well, coming in at $48. I like him a ton on Yahoo as well. We've seen big games from Curry lately. Had a huge game last time out against Orlando. 67 Draftkings points in 37 minutes. Had 40 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals. Shot 26 times. Shot 53% from the field, 52% from 3. Like Curry, he's just the entire Golden State offense at this point. He's taking 25, 30 shots a game. He's getting a ton of usage. He's playing a ton of minutes. If this game's close, which it should be, we should get probably 36, 38 minutes from Curry tonight. In a fast-paced, high-scoring game, I mean, you could not ask for a better spot for Steph Curry. As long as the game stays close, I feel very confident that we see a big game from Curry tonight, and especially with how bad this Nets defense have been this year. Like, they don't really have any elite defenders that are going to slow down Curry. Harden's not that good of a defender. Kyrie's never been an elite defender. KD's a good defender, but I doubt he's going to be guarding Curry. So I do like Curry a lot here. I think he is probably one of the best pay-up options on the slate and definitely stands out as a top play if you can find a way to fit him in. Draymond Green, I have a good amount of interest in as well. 6,700 on DK, like him quite a bit. Does stand out as being too cheap on Yahoo too at only $27. Obviously, with him starting at center these last few games, that has been a huge beneficiary, or kind of like a huge beneficiary to him and his fantasy upside. We've seen him play big minutes, and if this game's competitive tonight, I think we also get 36, 38 minutes from Draymond, 36, 38 minutes from Steph. Both those guys look so appealing. And we've seen the upside, from Draymond lately. We've seen him kind of look like his old self, doing a little bit of everything, kind of stuffing the stat sheet, giving you a little bit of points, a little bit of rebounds, giving you double-digit assists in 5 straight games. I mean, Draymond, he's been so good lately. It's a great matchup, fast-paced game. I love Draymond on this slate. I think he's definitely too cheap. He should be over 7K right now. Like, there's no reason for him to be only 6,700, especially in a great game environment like this. So I think Draymond looks really appealing. Andrew Wiggins, I'm not the biggest fan of. I think Kelly Oubre, if I had to target one of Oubre or Wiggins, I'd rather go to Oubre. Obviously, Oubre is someone that's insanely inconsistent, but the upside's always there. We can see him pop off at times and puts up 40-plus DK points. This feels like one of those games where maybe we could get a big 40-point game from Kelly Oubre, 40, 45 DK points in a fast-paced, high-scoring game. The upside is definitely there for him. I feel a lot better about Draymond. I feel a lot better about Steph, but I think Oubre is definitely in play from Golden State, but I don't have too much interest in anyone else. Not going to really be on Toscano Anderson or Eric Pascal. I think for me, it's definitely Curry, Draymond, and Kelly Oubre. Those are the 3 guys I do like the most from Golden State today. This game definitely one of the most appealing on the slate, in my opinion. But we can go ahead and move on to the last game of the night, Utah and Miami. So this, in my opinion, is probably the least appealing game. I don't have too much interest in anyone here. We know Goran Dragic is going to remain out for Miami. He's already been ruled out for this game. But the price tags on all these guys have kind of been adjusted for that. Hero's up to 6K, Nunn's 5,900. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, they're still somewhat affordable. If I was going to play anyone on Miami, it would be those 2 guys. But in a tough matchup, in a slow-paced matchup against Utah, neither one of Butler or Bam stand out as top plays today. I don't really like much from Miami at all today. I don't think this is going to be a team I really get any exposure to, especially since, I'm probably only going to play one lineup again. I doubt anyone from Miami makes it into my one lineup. Just not a game that I want to have that much exposure to. So we can go ahead and move on to the Utah side. Now, Utah will have to watch the status of Mike Conley. So Mike Conley sat out on Friday night. We don't know yet if he's going to play for Saturday's game. It's possible that he does play here. I would assume that he was either going to play Friday or Saturday. I think Conley probably plays today, but if he does wind up out again, obviously Donovan Mitchell benefits, Joe Ingles benefits, Jordan Clarkson benefits. They have all been priced, honestly their prices are too cheap in my opinion. Mitchell's still pretty affordable at $8,100. Joe Ingles' price came down to $5,700. Jordan Clarkson, his price came way down to $5,400. I'd actually have a good amount of interest in all 3 of those guys if we do get word that Mike Conley is out again. If Mike Conley plays, I don't really like much from Utah at all. I think if I was going to target anyone, it'd probably be Rudy Gobert at $7,100, but he still doesn't feel like a top option today. So just got to wait and see here with Mike Conley's status. If he plays, not much interest in anyone on Utah. If he's out again, though, I do have interest in Mitchell, Ingles, and Clarkson. I think factoring in price, Clarkson would probably be my favorite. He's only $5,400. He actually had a good game Friday night, put up 40 DK points in 31 minutes. We know he's going to get more minutes if Conley's out. We'll get more usage, just going to have the ball in his hands more coming off the bench. So I'd actually have a good amount of interest in Jordan Clarkson today if Mike Conley's out. I think he's definitely too cheap. But that does it for Utah, and that does it for all 4 games tonight. Pretty quick video, but short slate tonight. Wanted to break everything down, give you guys my thoughts on each team for this 4-game slate. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed, hit that like button down below. Hit the subscribe button as well. be sure to click that notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload. You also get notified every time I do go live. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I will be going live around 4:30 Eastern Time for tonight's slate. We'll be able to break everything down. I'll be able to answer all your questions. So be sure to tune into the live stream if you are able to on Saturday afternoon. But yeah, good luck tonight, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, check out my Patreon content link down below. As always, I do appreciate that. And yeah, good luck, guys. Appreciate you watching. Peace.